Okay, this is a big part, dismissal, because we have like a lot of layoffs that happening in tech. Yeah, so we will talk about dismissal, like this is being laid off. Resignation would come at a later point, but this is like in the case you being fired. So if you're like if this happened before probation, you only have a notice period of 2 weeks. They don't have a reason to terminate you. They can fire you, and work council cannot object to it. And they can fire you even during pregnancy or holidays. So basically, like in probation, it's like open season. They can fire and do whatever they want. But after probation, there is a legal limit of 4 weeks to have notice period. It can be different. Most of us, I think, like 3 months usually in tech, but 4 weeks is like the basically like the legal limit. And the notice period can increase if you stay longer in your company, and this is also the law that defines how long you can like basically increase depending on how long you stayed. And if you have a work council, employers need to ask. So this is important to have the work council in this work. And there are 3 reasons to terminate personal behavior operational. I will say like every one of them in the next slide. But all of these reasons, they are defined under the Dismissal Protection Act. This is a big law that you would read if you get fired, because you would know the reasons and get into like the definition. So 3 reasons: personal behavior operation. So personal is that you yourself do a lot of like basic like performance issues. You do problems. You are basically like always having problems with your company, arguing and so on. By the way, like this is what they define. So it's important to be aware of this part. And of course, like stealing and all of these things. Behavioral is basically like if you did like violation like for work policy, like you, I don't know, like if they have like some dress code and you didn't align with it. And of course, like if you are sick too long, like it's like a problematic one. That's like, but I think this would be very rare. And operational, this is most of us would happen. Like most of us is just like economic reason, downsizing, economy is bad, and so on. This is the majority of us, which is operational. There is a law that defines severance pay. Actually, it is this law like 1A, but this have like certain conditions. Like you didn't file a lawsuit against the termination. You weren't laid off for like you were laid off for operational reasons, and employer like tell you have severance pay, and it tells like half a month for 1 year. But this is for this case, not everything. It's only for this case. Important thing: dismissal is only valid if it's written and signed and sent to you and you have received it. If nothing of these 4 conditions didn't happen, dismissal is not valid. So if they send it like with email or message, it's not valid. And this is the law that says electronic transfer is not valid for dismissal. It's only have to be like paper, and you have to receive it as well by your hand. So if your employer says, "Hey, you're fired," next day go to work normally. Don't not work. You have to receive like a paper that says you are fired. 2 important dates when someone is fired: 3 weeks and 3 days. So you have 3 weeks to file a lawsuit against your employer to say like this dismissal was invalid, and you have 3 days to inform something called the Agentur für Arbeit, and this basically gives you the unemployment benefit, help you with to find job, and we'll get to this point later. But these are 2 important days to be aware of: 3 weeks and 3 days. So if you want to file a lawsuit, you have 3 weeks. In case of dismissal, they might give you something called Aufhebungsvertrag. This is like mutual agreement. You have the right to refuse to sign it. Like to say, no, I don't want to sign it, because they sometimes will try to push you, hey, sign it. You know, like, and might do it like friendly way and don't tell you like your legal right. You have the right to actually fight it, to file a lawsuit against it. So in case you find like you were like dismissed for socially justified reason. Because, for example, like what is a justified reason? Like, for example, if you are the youngest, the healthiest in the whole company, yeah, this might be a justified reason. But if you are someone who has like 2 kids, and there is someone in the company who is younger than you, this is not socially justified. They are the one who has priority to be fired, and then you would be fired. This is like the sequence. There is something called like determined by like your health, your mature situation, if you are married or not, and how many kids you have or how many dependents, and how long you are staying in the company. But at least the first three ones are the more important one, because you would be aware, like if someone is younger than you would be aware to use it like in the legal, so to say, hey, there is someone actually which is younger than me, and they weren't fired and I was fired. So it would help in the legal case because the company wouldn't give it to you. So it's important to be aware of this part. Okay. If you sign this Aufhebungsvertrag, like this mutual agreement, it's not always, but you might lose 3 months of your unemployment benefits, which is, of course, like it's a big deal. And the agent for Arbeit will ask you and they will know it from the employer. So no way to hide this information. Yeah, the decision for you to sign it or not, it would depend on your situation, because sometime when they give you the Aufhebungsvertrag, they would tell you, like for example, you would get, I don't know, like 3 months or 4 months, like for example, like you get 8,000 or 10,000. It might be less than the 3 months that you would get from the unemployment agents, like the Agentur für Arbeit. So it's important to be aware of all of this. Yeah. So it's important to be aware of like this, like to decide like if you want to sign it or not, like depending on like the amount you would get paid. So it might be less. Yeah. But of course, like if you fight it, you would get you might get both. We will get to like how to fight it legally now. So it's important to get legal insurance. Highly advised to get it. It's quite expensive to do it out of pocket, like it's very expensive. But you can know like how much fees you would pay using this RVG thing. It has like this law gives you like how much you would pay depending on how much your salary. It basically like matches to your salary. And it would tell you like how much fees. So it's not like the lawyer wouldn't say, hey, you have to pay like this out of their head. No, it's calculated based on a table. But highly recommend to take a legal insurance. It is not expensive and it helps like during this case. If you cannot afford the fees, there is something called process cost Hilfe. This would cover your fees. Important thing also, in labor law, each party pays their fees. It is not like the civil court. So in labor court, each party would pay their fees. So you don't have to pay everything, except in case of an appeal. So what would happen? In case you get like a verdict from the judge, and then we get into this process. But if the judge says the final statement and the company still want to fire you, there is an appeal they could file. And in case you lost, you have to pay like for everything. So the loser would pay for both sides. So that's why I highly recommend to take a legal insurance. It is worth it. Yeah. And of course, what we said, like the legal process, just to know like social aid is valid or not. Okay, the legal sequence in case you took like this legal procedure. So first, of course, you will discuss it with a lawyer, and then if it's like you have like a good strength of winning, you would file a lawsuit against your employer. And again, you have 3 weeks to file these lawsuits. So I know it's crazy. Like when you are fired, you would need to spend some time to figure out your life, and because it's like a big slap in the face. But also you would have to find a lawyer in your area, mostly speaks English. So you have to like focus that time could pass by very quickly while you are searching for a lawyer, because you only have 3 weeks that the lawyer files a lawsuit, not 3 weeks until you find a lawyer. It's 3 weeks until the lawyer have time to send the request. But it's easy because they send it with fax. So it'll be fast. I'm not joking, it's sent with fax. Okay. And after the request is being sent to the court, there will be an initial court hearing where like they will try to reach a resolution between you and the employer. In case of failure, there would be a trial, and this would be in front of a judge. And if you still insist on doing it, because for example you have like kids, family, and you feel no, I was dismissed illegally, in this case the judge would give like a final verdict, either you win or they would win. And if you win, you would take the salary of all the time since you were fired until the verdict. So it is not lost all of the salary. And usually it might take like 5, 6 months until you have like to reach this judge hearing. Um, yeah, like 6, even 7 months sometimes. Um, so you would take like all the salary of all of this time. But the problem is appeal is possible. That's why take a legal insurance. You will always say it. And regarding legal insurance, it always become active after 3 months of registering for it. It doesn't activate immediately. It always take like 3 months and then activates later. So it's important to be aware that, oh, I would fire today, I will get an insurance tomorrow. No, it doesn't work like this. You have to take an insurance first, 3 months, and then if you are fired. No. Yeah. Good thing also if you file as a group. If you could coordinate like with your other colleagues who are laid off, you could create like a big case in this case and put like more pressure on the employer. Basically, it helps like if you would like to take a severance package to end all of this, if you want to, or if you feel no, I was fired illegally, I want to get back to work. Yeah, this is different from resignation. Yeah, resignation, I think like most of us are a little bit aware of this. So basically, yeah, you just like stop working. You might be required to work in the notice period. Unlike when you're being dismissed, sometimes they don't let you work. So they would give it as a benefit, but actually it is your right. It is your right to take the 3 months notice period or the once notice period. It is not like a benefit because they sometimes give it into the Aufhebungsvertrag, like the mutual agreement, that it is a benefit so you can leave us. No, the notice period is your right. What is above than this 3 months? Yeah, this is like the severance package. What is less is not a severance package. So, in case of resignation, you might need to work in the notice period. Your unemployment benefit would be reduced by 3 months because you resigned for by yourself. But if you resign for medical reasons, you might not lose these 3 months. Medical reasons could be, yeah, maybe before this part, yeah. So basically, like you wouldn't lose these 3 months. So if you have like medical reasons to resign, it is better to like basically go to your house arts, discuss it, and tell them like I have some medical reasons, I have like this problem and so on. So in this case, you would take like a medical leave instead of resigning. So it is not like, oh, I don't no longer work because I am tired physically, I want to resign. No. Instead of this, go to your house arts, discuss it. And in this case, you would be covered for the first 6 weeks of your illness, like mostly, depending on your insurance. And later you will cover to up to 78 weeks. So the first 6 weeks, you would take all your salary. The other 78 weeks, you would take like a percentage of it. So it would be a little less. Mental health issues and burnout, of course, like they are common among tech workers. So it is one of the reasons, actually. It is not like, oh, I have burnout, so I am lazy or something. No, burnout is a medical condition, and you can take a medical leave because of it. So don't resign, go to your house arts and tell them about it. Important thing, your employer doesn't have the right to know the reason. So don't go to your employer, hey, I have a burnout. In this case, it becomes like one of the reasons to maybe fire you. So don't do it. Your employer doesn't have the right to know like what is your medical condition, and health insurance doesn't communicate it with them. So yeah, talk your house arts. Okay, maybe we can take like a round of questions. Anyone have questions? Okay.
Yeah, I just want to know about the workers' council. Like, I worked for one company just the beginning when I moved to Berlin, and there was already a workers' council. Now I worked for a company when I started 2 years ago. It was 100 people. Now it's about 300, but we are all remote. I mean, we have the offices. A few people go. It's not mandatory. How could I form a workers' council, like, or because we are so dispersed and spread? So, do you have some advice on this?
So work council, it's a big point, and I will cover it. Like it would be a little bit later. But to answer this question, because it's remote, like with remote, you have to do it like in your area. It is not like everywhere, as far as I know. Yeah. Yes, it is 5 full-time employees. But yeah, we'll get to the point of the work council. It's a big point, and it's one of the important things actually in the slides. Yeah, it's good to raise this one. Any other questions? Okay, let's continue. So yeah, so we covered like the dismissal and resignation. When you become unemployment, like there is the unemployment benefit, there is two things like the SGB dry, and there is I think like 1 and 2 or 1. This is like basically how we said like ALG1 and ALG2, like the one which you get like if you were fired, and this is like unemployment benefit, and there is the job center which is like Burger Guild and so on. But what we are focused on is the unemployment benefit which you get like if you were fired or resigned. This you get from the agentur for a bite, not the job center, because some people would go to the job center and think this is how you apply for it. This is you do it like by going to the agentur for a bite. You can apply for it online or in person. The website is super easy actually. It is not hard. Like it's just like you create an account and you fill some forms. They will give you like a confirmation, hey, your account is activated. If there's some problems, you can go to their office. Problem is they speak only German. It is very rare to find like someone who speaks English there. So it's important to learn some German, but I know it's quite hard. But yeah, so you can apply it again. You can apply it for it online because it becomes easier, and you can send them messages, letters if you want to. For the unemployment benefit, you are entitled to unemployment benefit if you have been working in the last 13 months. You have been working 12 months. You get this amount of money. You don't have to go to the details. Like at the end of the day, there is a calculator. Like you can forget all of this. Calculator is there. You can just like enter how much money you are making, and it would give you the details. Because it depends if you have children, if you don't have children, if you are married, if you are not married, like your class, tax class, and so on. So there is a lot of details. So a calculator is much easier to do. But if you are interested about like the amount, it's 60% and 67% if you have children. And there is a maximum amount also. Like if you are making 100,000 of euro, no, you wouldn't take like 60,000 of euro. No, it's usually it'll be less. There is like a legal limit for it. Yeah, it's average. Yeah, and there is also a limit, like how much you will get, like the length of it. It's usually half the amount you have worked. So if you work for 2 years, you will get 12 months. If you worked for 6 months, you would get 3 months. There is like some conditions that you get like less if you're working less even. But the maximum is 12 months, and it increases by old age. So if you're older, you can get like more than 12 months, like 2 years of unemployment benefits. Okay. For if you would like to do like some work while you are being unemployment, you can do some side jobs as well. You have the maximum to do 165 euro per month. This is the maximum, and if you make more than this, it would reduce your benefit. So if you made like 200, it would reduce the amount of benefit you are making. But you can ask your agent to pause the benefit for maybe 1 month or 1 week, and in this case, it wouldn't reduce your benefit. You can tell them, hey, I would like to pause my benefit for 1 month. And during this 1 month, you can do whatever you want. You earn the amount of money, but of course, you have to pay your health insurance and pensions if you want to. But health insurance you have to pay. But you can pause. So it's if you would like to do freelancing, like mixing freelancing and unemployment, it's better to pause instead of like just earning directly. And there is something, it's called Gründungszuschuss, our startup grant, easier. And this if you would like to switch from unemployed to self-employed. And it's a really good thing. But it depends on your agent, how friendly they are, how they trust you. And basically what happens is that they switch the money that you get. Like for example, you get 2,000 euro unemployed. They switch that they give you the 2,000 euro plus extra 300. This is to support you for 6 months. This could be up to 6 months. This is like the first phase. Second phase would be 300 only for 9 months. This is like called the startup grant. The good thing, it doesn't increase your income tax. So there is two differentiation. If you get like unemployment benefit, it actually affects your income tax. It increases your bracket tax to a certain level. But taking a startup grant doesn't affect your income tax. You just like take it and it's like basically free money. And I went to the income tax declaration form, and it doesn't have a field for the conscious. So if you can apply for it, it's really good. Uh, but the downside, you have to pay for your own health insurance and pension fees, like unlike being unemployed. But good thing as well, if you did like any like freelancing work during this time, you now can take it. You don't have to pause and so on and wait. So you may be like switching at first, like pausing, trying freelancing. If you would like eventually to take like full freelance, you can switch. You have to prepare like a business plan and financial plan. It's just like few statement about what you would like to start. If you'd like to start a tech company, a tech agency, and so on, and you send it. And if the agent there, in the, like your agent at the unemployment agency, like Agentur for a Byte, if they trust and they like you, they will tell you, yeah, it's fine. It's a little bit of a legal, like a lot of documents. Like I did it, and it's it takes some time because you have to prepare like the financial statement and the business plan, financial plan and business plan, and send them to someone to approve it. Like to have to find like some person like who is like someone who is specialist about this topic, and they approve it. You pay them some fee, and they send, yeah, like if they found like everything is good, checked out, they would sign it, and also they would give a document that tells, okay, this is a solid business plan, and you take all of this, send it back to the Agentur for Arbeit, and if they approve it, they can give it you. Also important to note, you don't have legal entitlement to take it. Like there is no legal right that they approve it. Yeah, you can apply, but they can say no. You don't have to get it.